He's got places to go.
Turn this thing on, we'll get you done.
Places like that, right?
Yeah, it's 7 o'clock. Yep.
We're on.
I'd like to call the meeting of October 1st, 2015 to order. Ben, would you call the roll call, please?
Deputy Mayor Garofalo, council members Achara, Long,
Here.
Shepaka,
Here.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Here, everybody please stand for pledge allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press in a coaster, posted in Town Hall, filed in the office of the municipal clerk on December 30, 2014. There are two emergency exits on the wall, one to my right that'll take you out to the front parking lot, and one to my left that'll take you out to the rear parking lot. If you have a cell phone, at this time is a good time to please turn it off. Make sure it's on silent. If you need to make a call, kindly go out into the hallway and make that call. Before we get started, I'm going to go down the line. Donna, do you have anything for us tonight?
No, I don't. Oh, yeah, let me just tell you,
You
everybody
said no,
that...
Rich?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just tell everybody that on the Meatball Throwdown, Louis Della won by a thin margin.
It was very close, I heard.
Very, very
Half a
close.
meatball.
Yes,
Half a meatball.
so that's all,
Half a
just because
meatball.
everybody keeps asking me.
All right, we got that settled.
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
report, please.
Yes, Mayor, I have a brief report, and it has to do with the collection that we make annually through the Community Hope Fund and also through the Department of Human Services. Every year we begin in October gathering donations, non-perishable food items. We ask for people to donate gift cards for those that are less fortunate in our community. The response in the past in Ocean Township has been tremendous. The citizens have really come out and really supported those who are in need. So, if you can make those donations, drop those items off to the Department of Human Services by no later than November 2nd. There's another group of people that put together the baskets for those in need, and then that distribution is made just prior to Thanksgiving. So if you go over and see Jennifer Appio at the Department of Human Services, you can drop off anything that you have, non-perishable items, any gift cards that you want to donate, and hopefully we'll have a big success this year just as we have in the past. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Andrew, anything?
No report tonight, no.
Marty, anything?
Nothing.
Okay, I'll just remind everybody, we did have a meeting today with OEM, Office of Emergency Management, and essential personnel, just to prepare for this impending storm that may or may not hit us. We don't know because they're never so reliable, these reports, but in the unlikely event that we get a weather event coming this way, we are prepared. The fire department's prepared, the chief of police is prepared, OEM, the EMT, JCP&L. So all the agencies are on board, our Department of Public Works, et cetera, have prepared for this storm by way of cleaning out the debris, getting all the storm drains managed, et cetera. So we're ready for that. Our Deal Lake Commission has been tending to the lake. He's opening and lowering the flume as needed. So we are ready for that, and there is a conference call tomorrow at 10 o'clock with the governor for mayors and anybody else who wants to get on that. We will probably jump on and get the latest update from him as well, and we'll keep everybody posted on that. So before we start with the meeting, we have a special presentation tonight, and I'm going to say it's to a group that has helped us in the past. And anytime I had called, I'm going to go back, roll the clock back a few years here, 2005, 2006, we had awful flooding over Poplar Village. And they were just devastated, and people had to be evacuated, and some for months and months, because the crawl space got flooded, they just were uninhabitable, and it took a long time to put RFPs out and get the work ordered and repaired, et cetera. And they needed a lot of help, and so we kind of, council and I, went out there and we tried to put things together for them. And the one thing that was sorely needed was storage facility. Where are they going to put stuff that they were able to salvage, some of their clothes, et cetera, or where were they going to put stuff that they were given somewhere else that they just didn't have a place to put it? So the solution was we called on Stern Brothers, who have a facility here locally, right out in Farmingdale, but they're local residents. and without hesitation, offered to help, and they brought over a few trailers over there, which is very nice, no charge, just graciously brought them over, dropped them off, left them there. And that was wonderful, and it worked out. Fast forward, we have this tragedy at Twin Brook with the fires, and the same situation. Geez, what are we gonna do now for these folks? They need almost the same situation, only it's a fire instead of a flood. What to do? Called on Stearns again, figured I don't wanna use up all my favors, but let me see. No question, got Michael Giacomo on the phone. Michael was willing to help out. They authorized to drop a trailer off there, which they did. They left it there. We were able to organize a clothing drive, which was very successful with the help of our friends at Fluff and Fold. And it just worked out wonderful. We're just glad that we've had that. So we're going to come down and make a presentation to Michael Giancone and his company for helping us out. So come on down, folks. Come on up. So, Michael's a guy I know a long, long time. In fact, I remember when he had a lot of hair on his head, he was a little guy running around the neighborhood, causing trouble. Remember those days? I sure do. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, wasn't it? He's actually a cousin to a dear friend of mine. He's actually a wonderful chef. I mean, we'll give him a plug on TV over here. But it's all good. Great family, and he works for a great company. And, look, that kind of stuff never gets old, and it's something that's not manufactured. It's in you. And we really appreciate that. We really tell your bosses for us too, that thank you for that, for helping. So with that, Mike, we'd like to give you this proclamation on behalf of the township, the Stearns Rental Corporation, whereas October 4th, 2015, the fire destroyed 12 units at Twin Brook Apartments in the township of Ocean, displacing 32 people. And whereas by this devastating fire, the desperately need of a necessity included clothing and furniture. And so your corporation, 65-year-old corporation, I didn't know that, they're that old, huh? Employs 16 people at Farmingdale, and they live locally, right?
Ocean
They're
Township.
Ocean Township residents. They stepped up, and it goes on to say all the nice whereas of what they've done, but we know what you guys did. And for that, we're very, very grateful, and thank you guys, your bosses. That was wonderful.
We're just a community, family-run organization with a lot of Ocean Township graduates, actually.
Just wanted to help out your community.
Yeah.
Well, you did in a big way, my friend, and we thank you, and they thank you, and they called us, just to let
Thank
you
you,
know.
Paul.
We're gonna get a picture here.
Thank you very much.
Chris.
Okay, you're gonna get a picture. The other side, Richie.
Oh, sure.
I'll get my fat belly. I know you're shooting a proclamation, right, Don?
Walking by.
Hold it over more than me, Michael. I'm kidding. All right. Good. Thank you again, my friend. That was wonderful. Thank
No
you.
problem. Call us if you need us.
That was
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay. Also, we have, this is Fire Prevention Week, week of October 4th through the 10th of 2015, so we have a proclamation for that as well. So we're gonna hang that up here in Town Hall. So Fire Prevention Week, October 4th through October 10th, 2015. And you're gonna see, reminders will be out there as well, what to do, and as far as changing your batteries and your smoke detectors, your carbon monoxide, etc. Be mindful. There are a lot of helpful hints if you go on the websites and you go into Ocean, Oakhurst, or Watermaster Fire Department. They'll explain to you really and break down what you can do to help prevent and help save yourself. It's very important, but it's Fire Prevention Week. So now we have any questions on any vouchers? We don't have vouchers tonight, but on the agenda, please come on up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, please. Anybody at all? No? Seeing you're nobody. Anybody please offer the consent agenda and the minutes for the workshop of September 15th, 2015.
I offer.
Second?
Councilmember Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, also we have resolutions 15-179 through 15-187. Someone please offer.
I offer.
Second.
Second?
Councilmember Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and for individual action, we have resolutions 15-185, Authorize the extension of the snow removal contract with Baradesco General Contracted for the period of January 1st through January 31st, 2016. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Councilmember Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and that's at an hourly rate in the unlikely event that we will need them through another terrible winter. We're hoping for a very mild winter this year, but just to be prepared. 15-186, authorize the rejection of bids received for the purchase of an 8 cubic yard rear-loading refuse collection truck. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Councilmember Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, we'll probably redo the bid specs on that and then rebid it because there was an error in there, so we're gonna redo that one. Not that we don't need the equipment. 15-187.
188.
I'm sorry, what am I, 188. Authorize the mayor and municipal clerk to execute the settlement agreement between the Township of Ocean and BBB 2 Associates. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Councilmember Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and this is one of our COA properties that were settled, and so we're just authorizing that agreement. For tonight, for adoption, we have ordinance number 2247. Bill, would you read the title, please? Sure.
An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 16 of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Ocean entitled Parks and Playgrounds.
Someone please open a public hearing on ordinance number 2247.
It's open to a public hearing on ordinance 2247.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, anybody want to be heard on ordinance 2247, please step up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing and hearing no one, someone please close the public hearing on ordinance 2247.
Move to close the public hearing on ordinance number 2247.
Second.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, action please on ordinance number 2247.
Move for the adoption of ordinance number 2247
I'll second it.
and published according to law.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, also for adoption tonight, we have ordinance number 2248. Ben, would you please read the title? Sure.
An ordinance authorizing the private sale of non-conforming real property known as Block 123, Lot 41, to a contiguous property owner pursuant to NJSA 48:12-13.
Right, someone please open a public hearing on ordinance 2248.
I move to open to the public ordinance number 2248.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, anybody wishing to be heard on ordinance 2248, please step up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing or hearing no one, someone please close the public hearing on ordinance 2248.
I move that we close the public hearing on ordinance number 2248.
Second.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yep.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, action please on ordinance number 2248.
Move for the adoption of ordinance number 2248 and everything pursuant to law.
Thank you.
And I'll second it.
Councilmember Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. And for introduction tonight, we have ordinance number 2250. Ben, would you read the title, please?
A bond ordinance providing for various improvements appropriating $225,000 and authorizing the issuance of $213,750 bonds or notes.
Great. Someone please introduce ordinance 2250.
I move for the introduction of ordinance number 2250.
And I'll second it.
Councilmember Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. 15. Public hearing.
Yeah.
That'll have its public hearing on 10/15. We're going to hold 2251. Anybody from the audience have anything, please come up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
One at a time, please.
It's gonna be lonely here tonight. We're just concerned a little about Mr. Yargalo. Has he been absent for a couple of times?
Oh, no, he's here.
He
Yeah,
was here
for the workshop.
earlier.
For the
He had
something
something that he had to take care of
Okay,
personally.
well, you know, there was a rumor when, during the election that he was resigning.
Oh,
He's
in
on
good health,
vacation.
and he was here,
He was on vacation at the last
and he
meeting.
had a lot of great,
Okay,
he was here for the
okay,
work.
okay.
a lot of input.
All right.
You have to say your name, who you are for the record.
Barbara Hudson, Horace Drive. The matter, remember, I asked you before about recording putting on video, the planning board, and you said you had to check legally. Well, surfing the web, I find the Nalapin,
Right.
right, so, I mean, they're on there. And that's really important to put the planning board in the
We
video.
will, and I think I also followed up with, once we get the okay that way, we are waiting for the new equipment that we had ordered that's going into this year's budget, we've already put it in, so once we have that, I expect, hopefully by January, February, we should be able to start recording both planning board and zoning board, providing everything's okay.
Okay. So since
And televising the same.
there's nobody else here tonight, if you don't mind, I'm a docent at the museum, okay, and you did ask.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you.
okay, and you know it's coming up, we're having a pre-speaker event. Let me just say that museum is spectacular.
It
The
is.
history is spectacular, and that there are events all the time.
Underrated.
Yeah, I mean, everybody should know that.
And they do a great
And
job.
Mr. Long.
Yes, I was there.
They
It
do a
was,
fantastic
it was
job.
very nice to see you there the day that I was present.
Yes, well, it's nice to see you. So anyway, we're having the free speaker event that's over at the old schoolhouse. And Gary Scheffenberger from the archaeology department, workers found 5,000 bodies on a road project on the Secaucus.
Yeah, I heard.
So he and his team were investigating, or did investigate it, and they, with 900, they identified 900 out of 5,000. I mean, well, anyway, that's what he's going to be talking about.
Awesome.
And, right. So, and then we have our 7th annual Ghost Walk.
Yeah.
Okay, 7 years. I think.
The ghost walk.
The-
That's
the-
it.
It's not a zombie walk, is it?
No, it's a ghost walk.
It's a ghost walk, and
interesting, yeah.
there you'll meet museum members covering
Yeah,
Civil War experiences and so on. But that's been a lot of fun. And
Yeah, I
usually
did it one
sells
year, I
out,
should go back.
Right, and then you had all kinds of events. You had the spring tea that always sells out. You had the American Doll that always sells out. And now the great success was the Genealogy Day.
yeah.
And they're going to do that again. You know, people just love that community. And you know, we have a library upstairs. So anybody, it's such wonderful service. Anybody can go up there and they have questions about their house and so. So, and also the spectacular history we have is, because, you know, when I get my tours, and I'm on there Thursdays, I like to say, we cover the nation, all right? Because, you know, when Berkeley and Carteret opened this, that's when they drew a contract to bring the Quakers down, the religious group, guaranteeing them freedom. They came down from the colony in Newport, all right? So, and they came at the end of the 17th century. So, I mean, go from that. Now, not only that, then we'll go through the Industrial Revolution, right? When you had, this was Ocean Township, from 1847, we went all along the coast. So we include the Industrial Revolution, when you have the Guggenheims and the 7 presidents who were
Yeah.
in Elberon. So we have all that history. And of course, today we are housing wall to wall, so we reflect the modern thing. But, and the Eden Woolley was the first councilman.
Yeah, we looked that up. In fact, they're
Yeah.
they're noted in one of our books upstairs.
Built
There's a
Deal
book.
Road with his associates. He was a surveyor and a.
He's the one that
money
made Deal
lender.
Road go that way.
I mean, we had, what did they say?
He's the one that caused all the traffic on Deal Road.
Yes, right, which is another subject. So you have, really, but I love to say, of course, in our colony, we're the original colony, so we have all that history. Everybody has that history, one way or another. But we have a mastodon,
Yes.
yes.
Yes,
So
we
they,
do.
you know, I mean, really, that, it stirs the imagination to think land before time, because that's what you're talking about.
We go back
And
before
and
Eden
yes, and the
Woolley.
boys came down and they met the Indians. So that's why we find, we're living up there wayside where you had the lookout.
Right.
Right. So, and I have, and I think many of us have a little Indian in our blood.
Yeah.
Because my great-great-grandfather was the first sheriff of Bradley Beach, name was Flood. So,
Wow.
yeah. And in my Irish Catholic family, they always called him the Black Dutch Protestant. So, he goes all the way back.
Wow, very interesting,
Yeah, so
yeah.
it's all very interesting, and everybody.
You know, I'd like to get the Jim Foley and the other fellow up here one day, Dr. Fernicola, to give that talk on
Well,
Potter's Cave. That was fascinating.
Now, this is not the history. This is us, we had asked you many times about a white building. I had a fellow come in, he was a retired AT&T guy. And he knew all about the
Yeah.
towers, all about the building, and he is part of our Marconi's, whatever they have, and they're into radio. So I told him, oh, yes, and we're under contract to have that building become a museum, right? Which reminds me, how's our kitty going along? Well, you know, here, I was going to talk to Mr. Acera, because he's a tech guy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so we have money, and we need more money, and it ought to be a fundraising event like we're doing with the tower. I mean, we have a very interesting complex here.
Yeah, you do.
You know, because the tower is the Second World War and so on. So you have the library, the museum, the tower, the dollhouse,
Yeah,
and that research in Monmouth College is on the cave, on Potter's Cave, all right?
very
Which
interesting.
I think, it's my suggestion, because I have nothing to do with the township, I mean, the museum, but we ought to reconstruct the cave, so they could
Yeah.
go from the cave, when they had absolutely nothing, to Thomas's little room, built by himself in 1747, when these people were English, not Americans yet, they were English living in Shrewsbury. And then, of course, when you expand the house, and you get Eden coming in, before it was 30 years before the Revolution, now you're 30 years before the Civil War, and they're American, and they're decorating the house in the neo-Greco style and so on. So, I mean, we have a complete picture,
Yeah.
it seems to me, right? Going back to the Astrodome,
Yeah,
and going back to the cave. So you could go from the cave, take a little walk out there, see the cave, come back to the house, see
Sure,
what one
make it a
room, and
nice
have
little-
the entire, you know, the entire picture. Wonderful for the children. And by the way, we're bringing the third grade classes. So every third grade class is introduced to this. But today, we had 16 history teachers from the high school, I think Milligan from the high school. And it would be a great thing for them to bring their classes and that they can conduct the tours. You know,
Yeah.
because I think, you're standing on the ground that you were
It
here
started it all.
forever. So, we would encourage you all to, and that cave also could be a fundraiser, or, and the townships could contribute to something. By the way, they haven't finished that, it's research. So they have to finish the research and know exactly where it is.
right.
And then when they
Then you
do,
can
they
just,
do
they
that.
maybe
And
reconstruct.
we have a
also.
library, I told you that,
Yes.
right?
Very nice, thank you very much for that,
Okay.
Mrs. Hudson, that was
Thank you.
fascinating. Anybody else? Mr. Hudson, come on up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
Okay, I can do that if I can remember.
Mr. Hudson.
Just three things briefly. First, there seems to be some rumor going around about the use of the former Jason's building. And there's some indication, or at least some people think, that there may be some undesirable use in there, such as a porno shop.
No, well, the Jason's building is a furniture store now that was a furniture store. There's a secondary store that they had, was a leather furniture store.
Yeah.
And there's an application before the zoning board, I believe, for that. Is it zoning board or?
Yes, zoning
Zoning
board.
board for that.
Yes.
It's an ongoing application that started up last month. So there is an application for a lingerie shop, from what I understand.
Yeah,
So if you're interested, come out to the meetings and hear the application and weigh in on it. That's our process.
Well, maybe I'll do that.
Awesome.
Okay, second, on the library.
Yes.
What happened to the plan that the township was going to do some repairs and renovations over there? I'm particularly concerned with the illumination of the sidewalk now that it's getting dark early, and also the parking lot. There are a lot of women and children coming in there at night and when it's dark. And really, it's bad that there's no walkway light.
Right,
And
okay.
it's also
So you're
bad
making
that
a note now, so we
the
can,
parking lot illumination leaves something to be desirable.
the parking lights, okay.
Yeah. Lastly, we're all waiting Mr. Arbus's eagerly awaited legal report
Mr. Orvis?
What's the
on recent actions.
What would you like? Well, we have on the agenda tonight the settlement of one matter with BVB, which was one of the resolutions, and that's the property off of West Park, where West Park Water Recyclers used to be. and that's a 72 unit with a 15 or 20% set aside depending upon rental or sales, and that's something we have resolved. They were the first party to sue us, and the one that we acknowledged had the right to pursue their claim. And actually, we have a conference on Stop and Shop tomorrow.
Okay, and that's it.
I think so.
Nothing vital on the affordable housing legislation?
Nothing on affordable housing legislation. We did attend I did attend a court appearance where all the municipalities were involved, and the court set a schedule not necessarily very favorable to the towns, because our expert that was hired for all the towns in not only Monmouth County, but I think throughout the state, had a stroke, and the court is not necessarily delaying anything related to that, and he's no longer going to be able to be our expert. So we have to get a new expert, and there's really no time for us to do it, so I'm not quite sure how that's going to play out. But I'm a minor player, because really Mr. Serenian represents the town in that matter, but he also represents a whole bunch of other towns, and there are several lawyers who represent numerous towns who are the experts in the COVID litigation.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. Anybody else? No? All right, before we make a motion to adjourn, I just want to thank everybody for coming out and remind you to watch us at 10 o'clock and 7 o'clock each night at channel 77 for Optimum, and 22 for Fios. And as a motion to adjourn, please.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Councilmember Long,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
It's Don Stein.